Yeah, I didn't hear quite as much as I expected about the social situation in Trinidad. Now, I don't know much from studying it, but I've got family in Trinidad, and I know from my cousin's perspective, she looks at things, she's about 18, so she's just growing up, and now living under the state of emergency. And she looks at it as it being a problem of just the social situation, the difference in people's economic situations. You know, you've got people there who are relatively well off, who have good jobs, have good careers, and then you've got people who are poor, just completely poor. And the crime, certainly, I don't know about the international side of things so much, but the domestic crime, she looks at it and just says, well, it's just people who are desperate. It's just people who take a look at you and go, maybe you've got some money, and they're willing to shoot you for a pair of shoes. Are the government addressing that at all? Are they doing anything to address the social?
Well, first of all, I just want to correct a few misconceptions that you're having there.
Right.
And it's not as simple as how you've just laid it out there, because there is definitely a very huge poor population. Then you have the working class, which is the real basis of this whole volatile industrial situation. And they are really fighting for an increase in wages because the government had promised during the elections to increase their wages by 9%, yet when they came into office, they said that there's a 5% wage cap. And that sparked, a revolt, if you like. People went out in the streets, 19 unions got together, and they said, we are not going to take this. They promised us something in the elections. That is the basis of the union support for this government, and without them sort of following that's why we're seeing this thing take place. And we made reference to the government feeling threatened by this action of the unions, who threatened a national shutdown, and of course that will impact on government services and so on, because in Trinidad and Tobago, over 50% of the economy is public. And therefore, the government has a big say in what goes on in the economy. And the private sector takes up about 40% of the rest of it.
Well, just to elaborate on that, I think the gentleman makes a very important point.
Yes.
Indeed, the government has sought to address these issues. The previous administration has implemented several programs, social programs, to enable persons to empower themselves. Programs such as the GATE program, which provided and enabled all citizens in Trinidad and Tobago to attain free tertiary education. And even for those persons who were not academically inclined, there are several, a myriad and plethora of programs that are free of charge, that train these people and enable them to tap into their other talents that are not necessarily academic.
Yes.
Another point that is also relevant is the fact that our crime in Trinidad and Tobago is directly linked to the flow of guns and drugs into the country.
And in fact, following on from what you're saying about that, I don't know if any of you saw a Channel 4 documentary with SoE Rhodes, Drugs, Guns and Violence in Trinidad and Tobago, I think it was called. He basically went to Trinidad and Tobago and spoke to government ministers and spoke to people on the ground, where he highlighted some of the issues. He went to people on the ground who said that it isn't the small man bringing in $2 million worth of cocaine and guns into the country, because he can't afford it. But he is being used as a means to advance the interests of the elites we have in society. And we have many of them controlling government and special interest groups controlling different arms of society. So, I mean, that's an aspect of it. And I think, that basically sort of addresses these sort of questions that you asked.
Yeah, well, again, just to add to that, the government has done extensive work to treat with this, but when we can restrict the flow of guns and drugs into the country, it would be more logical and practical to then seek to eradicate all of these social problems afterwards. And to the extent that we don't, we are going to be spinning top in mud, as they say in local parlance. So you treat with the problem internally, and as quickly as you treat with it, you have the inflow of drugs and guns coming in to refill what you already get.
Basically, address the source and not the issue.
Yeah. we should also mention that the previous administration had entered into contractual relations with BAE Systems, which is a massive British company, to acquire offshore patrol vessels, supplemented by 360-degree radar, because we are so close to Venezuela, where these drugs emanate from. And that was really to target the source of the problem, obviously supplemented by air support and so on. And the new administration had cancelled those arrangements
as soon as they came into power. Which
so
sort of made our relations with the UK very much challenged, because
and put us 10 steps back.
Absolutely.
Right.
Because not only have we purchased this from a British military company that deals with these sort of things, it really raises a question about the government's commitment to actually dealing with the source of the problem. Right? So, I mean, the state of emergency was purported to be a reason to dealing with the source, yet they cancel those very things that are fundamental for us addressing this.
Yeah.
So are they making any claims as to what they're actually doing then to deal with this? At what point are they going to take away the state of emergency? What are the goals that they want to achieve before saying, all right?
Well, just a point of clarification, the state of emergency was actually ended and not extended on December 5th. And the Prime Minister had said that it was a resounding success. I don't know where she got that from, because you arrested thousands of people and every single one of those people have been released because of no evidence. To me, that's a catastrophic figure.
Indeed, colossal.